Prepare yourself to be blown away by the seismic sounds and scrutiny of Aftershocks Podcast with Chris Aiken and Matt Hartnett.
It is Aftershocks right here on the AftershocksPodcast.com. And on the show with us right now is the vocalist of the band Diesel Machine. They are back with a brand new release called Evolve. They're back after a hell of a long time. He's one of my favorite singers from his other work with Soil, and I am certainly glad to have him on. It is the vocalist of Diesel Machine, Mr. AJ Cavalier. AJ, how are you, man?
Oh, man. It's good to talk to a human again after 20 years of, being in a cryogenic state. Yeah, man, I'm doing good. Again, apologize officially on air for not knowing technology enough to do any other kind of chatting with phone chatting.
Oh, it's all good.
Hopefully this phone will work and we'll be all right. Well, I'm doing good. Thank you.
Well, good, man. Well, dude, I have to say, more than it's great to have a release from Diesel Machine, it is very surprising to have a release from Diesel Machine. I thought this was a band that I liked back in the early 2000s that, was one of my special ones that nobody else was ever going to know or hear from again. So it's good to have you guys back.
Thank you. I think you're one of the 10 people who are aware of Diesel Machine. Because it was kind of like a, flash in the pan. We were there and then had some tragedy hit and then people spread out and, so it is good to be back. And I'm surprised as much as you are to actually finish something.
Sure.
Especially a record that, I've been working on for a long period of time. And, we're definitely proud to have it out or coming out, on August 21st. And we're definitely, proud of it.
Yep.
And, it was a long time coming and, it's good stuff. I mean, it is what it is. We're not slicing new bread. We're not reinventing the wheel.
Right.
We're doing what we do just on today's technology. I mean, technology's jumped, obviously. I'm still trying to catch on, but it's jumped from 20 years ago when Pro Tools and things just kind of started,
Right.
and now, you can do whatever from wherever, technically you can, but no, it's good. And, the band, I think, and the music has definitely evolved a notch up from where it was back in the mid 90s to the early 2000s there.
Sure. Now, AJ, talk a little bit about how you got the band back together, because obviously, there was the tragic times with the band, and then certainly everybody went on and did other stuff. You obviously did stuff for years with Soil and with some other stuff, and Pat obviously did Damage Plan, and I mean you guys got spread apart. How did you get back together? Was it as simple as a phone call or an email, or did somebody have a song that you guys just kind of wanted to work together on, or how exactly did that happen?
Well, funny enough, it's we were all friends.
Okay.
We all stayed in touch just as a friends would. Because we kind of became friends first in a way, and that stuck throughout the years, and we always talked, and we started working on things when we were in town together, and we would get a little bit done, get some drum tracks, or we would get some jamming done, and then it would sit for a year or so or two, and then like, hey, we're going to go back and finish that, and then it took, I think, 3 different drum sessions with Shane to track everything at different times here and there, and then we would change things. Years would go by, like, let's change that, And but yeah, as far as making the phone call, I think we always talked to each other. When Rich got in his accident there, and we pretty much just at the same time we said, well, we really don't want to continue without him. He's part of the whole machine, and it wasn't cool. So people just decided to go on. I think Pat got the helper gig pretty quick at that time. Right after that, and I think that was the catalyst that kind of started the okay, well, Pat's gone for most of the time, So maybe we should all kind of start looking around. And Shane was always doing other things also, because he's a very busy drummer,
Right.
and awesome and high demand for that kind of talent.
Sure.
And I always feel like we were blessed to even have him play with us. And at the end of the day, he's a super great friend. I lived with him for a while when we were on and off the road. When I was off the road with Soil, I was living with him, and I was watching his house, and he was on the road, and so we always kept in touch. Long story, sorry to ramble about it, but we always stayed in touch, and we are all great friends, and we're still in touch today, obviously, and we're excited that we were able to actually finish something, because you have 4 personalities and everybody is right.
Right, sure.
Everybody has what they want to think, and it's not 1995 where we're just kind of chugging some crowbar riffs
right
in the studio, where things are a little bit a little quicker, a little bit different.
Sure. Now, how was it different writing music this time? Because you all have so many different experiences from when you did it the first time. I'm assuming it's completely different now, no?
Yeah, I mean, back then, we didn't have kids. I don't think some of them still don't, but I do. So things are definitely different. What was the question again? Let me think. Was it different to write this time?
Yeah.
A lot of it, some of it was some B-side stuff that we had.
Okay.
And then we had like a little demo that we started back in 2000. When we were touring that little short West Coast run that we did with Static X and Soulfly, and ironically Soil, which I couldn't stand, by the way.
Nice.
I shouldn't say that. This is a Chicago-based place. I think you were. Aren't you in Chicago?
I'm in Cleveland. Yeah, so, right? I'm in Cleveland. I'm by Chicago, but yeah.
But yeah, so that's that'll be another question, I guess, later. But yeah, I mean, it's all different writing this time for sure. But it's not too hard to write about things I hate, because I hate everything. So it was really easy to come up with some issues, there to write about.
Oh, I didn't notice when I was listening to Shut It that there was any hatred going on.
No, it's really the love that I have for humanity, right there in a nutshell. I think cynical, and people, you might even ask me this later, but I've been asked before in an interview. I think they asked me what's my favorite song on the record, and Cynical is by far the most favorite one of mine. Just how it's being said and what I'm saying is just so exactly how I feel most of the time. And yeah, it makes me happy when I hear it. And I don't even like hearing a lot of things.
Right.
But I don't mind that one. So
sure. Well, how was Shut It chosen as the single? Not that there's like radio to really push a single, but how was Shut It chosen as the one for the lyric video and the single?
I have no idea. Maybe because it was done first. Maybe it was completed. It's not like it's a big radio jingle. It's a little quicker. I think it's a faster song.
Sure.
We don't have a lot of quick songs on this record, I don't think. So maybe they wanted something that moved a little quicker. I really didn't care. I could be angry with it for all I care. It didn't really matter to me which one was, going to hit out there first, because again, it's not top 40 radio. We're not going to knock Disturbed off the
right
countdown or whatever. You know what I mean? It is what it is. And that's the whole philosophy of Diesel Machines. We don't really care.
Right.
We care about doing what we're doing. And if people like it, then that's cool. If they don't, then they don't. It's not for everyone.
Is Diesel Machine a project that you plan, should the world ever decide to open back up, to actually tour with, or is it just a recording project, or what?
No, absolutely. I think if the world opens up properly, it definitely be out there. But again, you're looking at 4 different, people in their lives, and
Sure.
touring is, you have to organize all that. I have kids, I have responsibilities.
Right.
Shane is, always busy, constantly busy. So I definitely think that there'll be some shows coming out at some point, and man, I hope so, because I mean, I might need to, run a little bit and maybe lose some weight before I hit the stage. But just because I might pass out, haven't been on stage in in 2010, I think.
Wow.
But with the Soil guys, so yeah, it's been a while.
Yeah. Dude, talk a little bit about that time. As a fan of Soil before you were in the band and when you were in the band.
Mm-hmm.
And I jumped on with Throttle Junkies. I was all the way, I think, at the beginning or close to the beginning of the band. And I really liked, I was telling my partner Matt before we started, I was a huge fan of Picture Perfect, which, I thought you guys should have had 3 solid singles that should have done something at radio. And for whatever reason, it just didn't hit. But what was it at that time that just missed for the public? Because, especially a song like Surrounded, as an example, I always thought that song could have played at radio because it was, sort of the ballad, and it was, it just sounded like what was on the radio, but better. And it just didn't get its love.
Yeah, it happens to be the song that I hate the most.
Really?
Yeah, but I hate it every second I'm trying to sing it. But I mean, just telling you it's like it is, the truth. It's kind of what I do. But it's I don't know, man. I don't know what happened at that time as far as radio. I'm not a guy who's clinging on to what's the newest flavor out there.
Sure.
We did what we did, and I'm definitely proud of those records. I mean, it was hell to get the Picture Perfect record done. I remember being in Chicago for 3 months from November, December, through January to February. It was like the worst winter ever. And trying to commute down to Johnny K's studio, and trying to get this record done. And it was really hard to do. I got to be honest with you, a lot of stress and a lot of emotional issues and all sorts of stuff going on, but I'm still proud of it. I
Sure.
think there's some good songs in there. It's very musical.
Mm-hmm.
It's got a lot of different, awesome melodies and some harder stuff, some lighter stuff. And, I just did whatever came out, and, that's what came out. I don't know why it didn't do great on radio. Probably because it's just timing, anything,
Sure.
Maybe it just isn't that good. Maybe you and I think it's good and other people don't, and, whether it's Soil name or the new singer or the old singer, Surrounded, I think when I left the band, they had an in-between singer guy actually re-record the song and sing it. And I think he did better than I did because I didn't like it anyway, but he actually did it, I think, and I think they released that as a single, a re-release single with not me singing on it, with this in-between guy. I don't even know who his name was, but he was a good singer for sure.
Right.
And then they got Ryan back, and I don't think they've ever played that song.
Sure.
With Ryan, as far as I know. But yeah, I don't know what happened to answer your question as far as why any other singles didn't really stick.
Yeah.
Like It Is was pretty cool on the heavier tip, and there's a lot of Falter was a good song that never even touched live. They never even played it live.
Yeah.
I always thought that was a cool tune. But it definitely, to me, it was a lot different than the True Self record, which was a little more, I don't know, I would say metal in a way, a little more heavier.
Sure.
In my opinion, but it had Sean Glass in it, so it was going to be heavy with Sean.
Right. Well, I know when I know for that album, for Picture Perfect, everything was just credited to the band. Did you have, a lot of input into the writing on the record? Because it sounds like it maybe didn't go in a direction you actually wanted it to.
No, I was in LA a lot, so Picture Perfect was pretty much, they would send me their jams, and I would load them in Pro Tools, and I would sing on it. I'd send it back. And I wrote all the lyrics, melodies, and harmonies, and all that stuff, and did all the singing on it. And they did all pretty much the music, and then I would rearrange it. I'd cut it up in Pro Tools, and I would say, hey, let's move this around, move that around. But truthfully, everything that they sent me was almost, in completion as far as music. It's not like I rewrote what they sent me. They already had it. It sounded really good, and it was really easy for me. And it clicked, as it still is. It did with both those records. it clicked to write with those guys. Whether we clicked, you know, seeing eye to eye on, you know, everything else,
right?
you know, but the musically, you can't deny that we had a real good chemistry of writing, and it was some of it was very musical, and some of it was very aggressive, and yeah. So as far as what I did for that record, except for Surrounded, which came from an outside writer, that song itself, I don't even know who it was, I forget, but the lyrics was their lyrics, and I added a couple words in there just to make it cooler, but didn't help it any. Didn't make me enjoy the song much better. But it was probably the reason why I didn't like it as much, because I didn't write the lyrics, and the melodies were kind of already written. So I'm like, okay, I got to sing someone else's shit. Okay.
All right.
And it technically it sounds good, but it sounds like it's an 80s kind of a rock ballad in a way to me.
Mm.
And, but it is, I mean, I hate to say it, but it does sound good. You know, it does sound like a good song.
Sure.
It just wasn't the one that I was really digging on the record to do. All the other ones we wrote ourselves, completed. You know, I did all the lyrics and stuff. And to me, lyrics are a big deal. And, you know, I got to believe in what I'm singing. It sounds cheesy, but as a singer and a vocalist, you know, it's hard to pull things off, you know, if you don't believe in what you're singing, you know, honestly.
Right. Well, and especially the way you guys performed, and I saw you perform several times. It's an emotional performance. It's definitely not a stand there, look at your shoes and mumble some words, you know, shitty performance. I mean, you're pouring it out there. And if you don't believe in the song, then that's got to be just brutal to be, you know, faking emotion.
Well, that was the other problem with, you know, we get into, I feel like you're my therapist or something. Getting into the deal with, you know, singing in someone else's band. I mean, at the end of the day, you know, it wasn't my band; it was their band,
right?
And I had to sing their old songs. You know, Halo, and every time I hear it, I want to shoot myself in the throat.
Right.
But it's their song, you know. That's what made them, and it's part of the deal, you know. And so I had to suck it up and do it. And yeah, I enjoy doing it sometimes, and then other times, like, can't we just play one of our songs?
Right.
You know, but you know, the fans want to hear their old stuff, and I understand that, you know, but it doesn't mean I liked it, you know, but I understood it. And and after a while, it's going to reach a certain point to where you're just kind of, okay, that's enough, you know, it's enough of doing that.
Right.
Kind of, you know, kind of what happened at the end of the day.
Sure. So you left Soil, obviously, and like you said, it's been 10 years since you've been on a stage. Have you been doing musical things that just didn't get you out on tour, or did you just take that time to deal with family, or what have you kept busy with?
Yeah, I think that was it. I didn't do anything musically besides, you know, play a couple chords on a guitar here and there around my studio, mix some bands, you know, produce a couple dudes here and there, nothing. But personally, I didn't do anything musically except for Diesel Machine, which was, you know, now I could kind of focus on doing that and trying to get that done. But again, you know, logistically it was tough and to get everything finished up. So, I mean, yeah, did it take 10 years to get Diesel Machine finished? Yeah, absolutely.
Sure.
But it was easier once the Soil thing was over, the Soil Train.
Right.
But, I haven't been doing anything, man. Honestly, I have not been doing music. Life has went in other directions, and you know, it's hard to get back to it. You know, but it's always there. You know, it's something that's there.
They say that musicians always have the bug, but at the same time, I mean, you've experienced the grind of it. It's got to be brutal after, you know, you get comfortable being at home and watching Netflix and raising kids and, you know, doing stuff, to all of a sudden go back to, all right, now I'm going to form a metal band and I'm going to go out on tour and, you know, we're going to play, you know, this club or that club in, you know, bullshit Idaho or wherever, you know, that's brutal mentally, man, to get yourself back into that place. No?
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, having kids, if you have some, are a game changer when it comes to anything in the world that you want to do, because they suck the life out of you in a good way. Sure. Just kidding. No, they're the most important, and the wife and the kids are what's most important. And for all my life, I put music first, and that was always most important. So it's hard to juggle. It really is hard to juggle that.
Sure.
And I think, and I didn't want to really juggle that, or find the right person to juggle it with. Back in the times when I was, fighting it out in LA in the clubs,
right,
and then being on the road with Soil. I mean, I was mostly on the road with Soil more than anything.
Sure.
And that was great. That's what I wanted to do. I wanted to be a touring musician and do it. And, that's what I did. So
sure.
My kids don't know what I do. I mean, Diesel Machine, I don't even know what that is. I mean, I said in the last interview, I forget what I said, but it's like, I feel I'm in here screaming into a microphone, and the kids are like, "Why is Daddy mad in the other room?" Screaming. And like I said this, I think in the last interview with someone else, but that's true. And it feels weird. I mean, they're, saying F-bombs and I hate everyone and every fucking thing. And,
right.
And it's, okay, good night, boys. Good night. Okay. You got your little animals and
right.
Good night. And no, I'm going to go back in here and get angry again.
Right.
So yeah, it's a different thing. The mentality is way different. In LA, I just, I hated everything all the time.
Sure.
Unless I was on the beach surfing, that was the good times. But when you rehearse in downtown LA, you're in the city,
Mm-hmm.
It's different. It's different mind, different world.
Yeah, it definitely is. I'm curious, AJ, about touring. It's not about you, but you obviously are aware of it. A lot of hate toward Pat because of the dime bag passing thing, and I don't personally think it's called for at all. I mean, it's ridiculous that he would get the blame for that. But there's a lot of people that have that kind of anger toward him. Do you worry about those people showing up and being dicks at shows, or do you just hope it doesn't turn into that?
Well, it's never nice when something like that happens, because it's
right.
I've had hecklers at shows, and
sure,
absolutely, especially singing with Soil. I mean, when I first started, nobody, those guys, you suck and stuff like that. And, you just kind of deal with that. But for me, I kind of, I take it head on, and I call those people out, and usually deal with that, on stage with a microphone. You have more power when you have a microphone,
right,
than the other guy. But, I hope that doesn't ever happen. I don't know why there's hatred towards Pat in that situation. He didn't cause any of that to happen.
Right.
The most tragic thing in metal ever
right.
happened to all those guys, and not just Dime, and everyone else that was surrounded in that situation, the roadies, the bodyguards, the
sure.
security, everything that happened there. I mean, it was just a nightmare. I mean, if I played that club a few months after,
right.
and it just felt weird, we did some tribute stuff to them, because we were supposed to be touring and playing with those guys, and
sure.
I was all happy to see Pat again, and we're going to be playing House of Blues with them, and and also, anyways, I mean, my first show with Soil was at the Penny Arcade, and we were all pumped up, and it was a cool show, and people seemed to like me, whatever, and it went off real well, and then on the way back, we're hearing on the radio that members were shot, and said,
right.
who was alive. I was trying to call Pat,
right.
But as far as getting back to your question, and I apologize for rambling.
No,
obviously, I don't get off the hill much. I'm actually not even a big talker, so it's just kind of really ironic. But I don't know why there's hatred towards that situation. I don't know everything about it. I don't want to know everything about it. Pat's my friend. That was the band that he was in. Whether they got along or with the other people in the band, or differences of opinions on whatever, that's in their court. I don't know why people would not like Pat. I don't see what he's done to anybody to cause people to be that upset.
Well,
why was Dime? Well, why did Dime get hurt?
Yeah.
Well, he didn't do anything to anybody.
No, I mean, dude, in the end, people have long since that happened. People make some assessment that Pat should have done A or B or C. And, the whole thing happened in about a second and a half. And I mean, it's one thing to make a judgment, in hindsight. I mean, you've been in bands, you've seen bands, fans jump up on stage. They jump up on stage, and by the time the security gets to them and pushes them off the stage, it is a second or 5 seconds or 10 seconds sometimes. That shit happened in a second. And for whatever reason, a small percentage of people blamed him, which is just ridiculous. You can't blame anybody for that except the asshole with the gun.
Yeah. I mean, if someone has a gun and they're bent on destruction,
Yeah,
it's going to happen. There's no one that can get in the way. Something's going to happen, you know. And when you're performing, I can't even imagine singing live and having something like that happen, and you don't even know if it's real. I mean, because you don't know what's going on. You know, you're screaming, you're singing, you're doing your thing to the crowd. Next thing you know, something really bad is happening, and you're like, "Is this even happening? Is it?" There's the shock value. You don't know, and everyone reacts different in a situation of tragedy or a shock or an accident or whatever. You don't know how you're going to react. You don't know what's going to happen. It just is what it is, you know. And I don't know exactly what happened. I wasn't there.
Sure.
I mean, obviously, you know, you hear, you know, what happened and you see who got hurt and whatnot, but to blame one person, that's just absolute, you know, that's ridiculous. You know,
right.
I've been on stage. I got people coming up on stage, you know, all the time. And sometimes it's cool, sometimes it isn't. You know, there's not always security there that gets them. You know? You know, and sometimes I like it when they're on stage, and if they're doing stuff that's stupid, you know, throw them off. You know, I don't have any problem doing that. I've done that many times. But that's not my job. You know, if you hurt somebody and there's lawsuits, and I've done some really stupid stuff on stage. We don't need to get into that. I've done some really things that were bad decisions that could have gone the wrong way. Let's put it that way. And I'm happy that nothing bad did happen or hurt somebody, you know.
Right on.
But yeah, I don't know. It's not about me. You're talking about Pat in that situation. So no, I don't get it. I don't get why everyone's really that upset about it.
Right. No, I hear you. One more quick one that has really nothing to do other than I know you know this guy. What do you think about the rebirth of Static X without Wayne? I know you knew Wayne and you worked with Wayne previously. Do you like this, or are you just like, what the hell is this, or do you have no opinion?
Oh man, you know, they asked me that in the last one. I guess it's going to happen a lot. Man, it's like you try not to think about it. It's one of those things where it's weird. You know, I know the guys in the band. We're not all best friends. We don't hang out and do barbecues. Sure. But I know Tony really well. I see him all the time. We rehearse downtown LA together in rooms, you know, down the hall from each other. I've known him for years. I used to manage the rehearsal studios that they were in, and that's how I knew Wayne. And, you know, bada bing, bada boom. That's kind of how everything happened with those guys. But Wayne was the main guy that I was, you know, friends with, and he's the one who helped me out with my other band that I was doing, and with Diesel Machine, he's the one who got us on the road with them to kind of get us going to a real tour, and it was awesome, you know. And, but so as far as what they're doing, I guess has this ever happened before in metal where they're doing like doing this where they're doing what they're doing, like having a stand-in guy, or
It's odd. I will say it's very odd.
It's, you know, I mean, I'm a fan of Static X. I like their music. So, you know, I like Wayne's voice. Do I want to hear the other person singing live? I guess the answer would be no. I hate to say it. I would rather hear Wayne's voice live. Sure. Especially that he's, you know, passed away. Even more so, I'd, you know, want to hear that. I mean, if they were just had Wayne's voice and they were doing like a Tupac thing where it was like a hologram, right? You know, then I'd be like, okay, that's still weird, but that's more acceptable to me than somebody standing in being him with a mask on. Right. I don't know, man. It's weird, I guess. And I don't mean to be, you know, completely negative about it. I guess I wouldn't want to do that. Right. Put it that way. I wouldn't personally want to do that. So it's not for me.
I hear you. Very good, man.
Did I skate around the question?
No, dude, trust me. A lot of people would say, yeah, you know, I knew Wayne and I'm sorry for his passing. And, you know, I wish those guys well. Yeah. I mean, yeah, dude, you know, the skirt answers, you seem like you don't have any problem at all just attacking whatever questions asked of you.
Yeah. I don't really have, you know, I don't know. I don't want to be mean to people, only to other people, but not to fellow musicians that are out there trying to keep their band going. I mean, I get it. The Soil guys, I get it. You know, it's like, I didn't get it when I was in it. because when I joined the band, I wanted to change the name. I was like, dude, I don't sound like Brian.
Right.
You know, it's not just, and I don't look like him. I don't even, you know, you can't really compare us. It's like, and so I think we kind of should change the name. And some of the guys were on board, but most were not and got outvoted. And I don't even know why I'm changing the subject, and I apologize for doing that. But that was just, you know, yeah, that's just how I felt about that.
Sure. Well, the one band you don't need to change the name of is Diesel Machine. Diesel Machine is back. The new album is Evolve. When is the album officially out?
August 21st is out.
Awesome.
And out where is a good question.
Yeah. It's
I don't even have a Facebook page, all right? I left off at MySpace back in the day, and then I just let it go. I'm like, whatever, I'm not even going to do it anymore. So I guess I got to start a Facebook page and then maybe like promote the record. I guess that's what you do these days.
Yeah, or either that or do podcasts.
Right. Well, yeah, if I get some, you know, a computer that can handle more than email. No, but yeah, we do have a Facebook page out there. The information is on there, and it is kept up. I'm going to start getting more in the loop as far as getting, you know, Facebook page. I guess I'm going to be forced into it.
Sure.
Because I hate Facebook. I don't like anything about it.
With you there.
I'm the guy who flyers the strip on Sunset. You know,
right.
Hey, come see my band. Here's my flyer.
Right.
So I'm living in the old days. You know, it's like I just was very much anti-Facebook, and unfortunately, it seems like you have to, you know, be on it in order to do anything these days musically.
Yeah, it's a sad state that you have to be on it, but at the same time, it really limits what you can do because you don't have that personal reach to where, you know, you look somebody in the eye and say, come to my show, and they say, okay. And then they show up. You know, it's different now. Now it's just, now it's a blip on a screen that's forgotten 3 seconds later. But
yeah, and people are like, oh, I have all these friends. I'm like, you can't even use the term friend.
Yeah.
It's not even a friend. Don't get me started on Facebook, man. I'm not, I'm going to be the biggest, you know, hypocrite because I have to probably start a page and I'm going to hate every second of it. But I do love every second of Diesel Machine, and
sure.
if that's what I have to do to
right
to help out, then I guess I'll have to actually start something up here.
I'll tell you the truth, AJ. I can't. You're not the biggest hater of it. I am, and yet I make half of my. I own an IT company, so I do social media for companies. So I'm on it. I'm on it every single day, and I fucking hate it. I can't stand Facebook or Twitter or any of it. It's all junk. You know, it's literally the sewer of humanity, but it is a necessary evil for business. I hate to say it, but it's just the truth.
Yeah, I miss the old days, man. I gotta be honest with you.
I'm with you.
I gotta do what the kids are doing. If that's what they're doing, and they want to see some picture of me in 1999 a Diesel Machine. I gotta post it. You know.
Yeah.
I don't know, but. Anyways, I appreciate you even reaching out to us.
It's all good, dude.
Diesel Machine is a band that only a few people know about, and it's like I said, we're not like the cutting edge of what's cool out there. You know, if anything, it's more of a throwback sound to what it was like, you know, back in the day with just more better production. Today's productions, you know, Chris Collier mixing is just insane. His mixing is killer. And he made it sound like today's metal mixes, and that's what makes it cool.
Yep. Well, it's a great record, and the band is Diesel Machine, and the record is Evolve, and it is out August 21st. So make sure you get it.
Thanks, Chris. You're awesome, man. Appreciate it.
No problem, bro.
Thanks for listening to Aftershocks. For more episodes, go to our website at www.aftershockspodcast.com. Visit us on our Facebook, Instagram, and Twitter pages for more news and information on the podcast. And be sure to subscribe, listen to, and review all episodes on YouTube, Spotify, Apple Podcasts, and all other podcast platforms. For your music listening pleasure, visit our website or go to www.shockwavesradio.com. For all comments and questions, please email us at info@aftershockspodcast.com.